Hello, everyone. My name is Lee Bird. Thank you for stopping by my YouTube channel. I really love it and appreciate that you've taken the time to do this. And I hope my message today helps you in some way. There was another mass shooting recently here in my community. 6 people were murdered and the gunman took his own life. And when that happened, it happened one evening, and I woke up the next day, and it was, of course, all over the news. And I was devastated, and then I was angry, very angry. And I found that I wasn't willing to let go of that anger. I found that I really wanted to be angry, and that I had a right to be angry. The truth is I did have a right to be angry. I had a right to feel whatever I was feeling. That's our truth. Did it serve me to be angry? No, not really. Did it serve anyone else for me to be angry? No, not really. Because the anger was just reactivity, and that came right out of fear. The whole time, and I'm talking maybe 4 days, 3-4 days of kind of mentally stomping around, demanding that the universe, divine mother, someone stop this madness immediately. And after a bit, I could hear this voice, very soft whisper of my soul, my higher self, my divine nature, saying, wait, stop, take a breath, surrender to your feelings. And every time I heard it, I pushed it away. No, I don't want to do that. Surrendering to my feelings at that time felt as if I was betraying everyone and all of those people who suffered that night, and all the people in the whole world that suffer needlessly. But after a while, I grew very exhausted, emotionally, physically, and I felt like I had to put this burden down. And as soon as I made that shift, I began to realize the burden's not mine in the first place. There is no burden. There just is the fact that this person walked into a place and shot 6 people and wounded a few others and then killed himself. That's a fact. Not one I like, but it's a truth. So I did what I do and what I offer to everyone. I sat down. I got very quiet. I did a little bit of breath work. I prefer the breathing in to the count of 4, holding for 1 count, and breathing out to the count of 6. But any kind of breath work, because that helps my body and my nervous system and my emotional body to relax and come into balance. Once I did this, I started hearing the voice again in my head, my higher self that said, just let it be. Let it be. You know, like the Beatles song. In fact, that is the melody that came into my mind at that time. Let it be, let it be. Words of wisdom, let it be. You see, the whole time I was in the anger and resisting the voice and all, this whole time, I knew that I was one with everything. But admitting that out loud again felt like some kind of betrayal. It wasn't until I got really quiet and heard myself and opened my voice and my heart and my whole being to this experience. Yes, it hurt. Yes, lots of tears came. I sat, I felt the anger and then the grief within my body. Physically within my body, I met those sensations. I allowed those sensations to be here. I accepted the sensations. And then rest came. And rest is my true nature. It's your true nature. We are all one. There is no separation, none. I came to know this many, many years ago without knowing what I was knowing, if that makes sense. But more than 50 years ago, I was sitting on the floor of this little house that I was living in with some other people, and we took some drugs, LSD, and I was sitting on the floor in front of the door, and there was this great amount of sun coming through, and it was so warm and comfortable. And I don't know what kind of a time frame this all happened in, but at some point I realized, as I was looking outside, there was a grove of trees, and there was the lawn, which was very green, and the trees were very green. And then I could hear birds chirping in the trees. And at some point, I seemed to melt away. The me, this physical being that I identify as Lee Bird, seemed to disappear. And what came was this sense of being the trees, and being the blades of grass, and being the bird, and them being me. There was no separation. There was just all of this, and it was all happening at one time, and it was beautiful. It was very beautiful. It was awesome. And I cried. I cried because it was so beautiful, and I cried because I didn't know what was happening to me. I don't know how long I sobbed. At some point, I do remember going into my bedroom and getting into bed, and I must have slept, but I remember thinking, I'm never going to do these drugs again, and I haven't, which is not the point. It wasn't until years later, at least 20 years, maybe 30 years later, that I began to see that what I experienced that day was the oneness, and the drugs actually helped me to melt away my personality and all of that and accept this oneness. Now, since then, I've worked with a few different teachers, and I've had that experience again and again. And now I'm at a place where I can move into oneness pretty quickly if I'm willing to just sit, accept, love, and be with whatever is coming up. And that's what happened that day, that I got quiet and I stopped resisting my anger and my fear and my grief, but just sat with it. And when the tears dried and I looked up again, I could feel this magnificent sacred oneness. And that's basically what I want to invite all of you to do. Oneness is who you are. There's no effort needed. You don't have to do anything. You can, if you want to go someplace remote and, camp out in a cave for a while and meditate for days on end, do that. But you don't need to, because it's already here. It's already who you are. You just have to recognize it, embrace it, love it. Love who you are right now, in this moment, right now. There's nothing wrong with you. There never has been anything wrong with you. Love you. Love you just the way you are. Love what you have. Love what you don't have. Be you. I hope this helps. And I do hope it makes sense to you. But if not, or if you have questions or you want to know more, please message me. Here, I think there's a place below this video where you can leave a message. I will also give you contact information. Thank you so much. Thank you so, so much from the very bottom of this beautiful heart of mine to your beautiful, beautiful heart. Be one. Be aware of your oneness. Be aware of your divinity. Be aware of who you really are. Big love to everybody and major, major, major blessings to everyone. Namaste.